you got the ball on my trailer is a 2 5/16, so and then the hay wagon's just a hitch pin.
I'll text you.
Yep.
I know. I told her no, I wasn't doing a show. She's like, I want to use the clothes.
All right.
Right. So stop over if you want to try something on. Supposedly she's bringing it tomorrow. I'll text you.
Everybody ready?
Hey, how you doing?
Yes.
Everybody ready?
Good.
Good evening and welcome to the April meeting of the South Range Board of Education. Could we all please stand and say the pledge first, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Mr. Phillips, would you call the roll, please?
Brian Bagwell.
Here.
Taylor Christian.
Here.
Terry Lally.
Here.
Amy White. Ralph Wentz.
Here. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our regular meeting held on March the 15th. Are there any additions or corrections needed for the minutes? If not, may I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Amy moves. May I have a second?
Second.
Brian seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And on to Mr. Phillips and the treasurer's report.
All right, in our regular general fund, we had $5,034,503.53. There's a large amount in our debt service fund, $1,482,838.01. We have a close to $1 million payment on June 1st. You'll notice that the grants are way down as far as the negative amounts, 5,000, 3,000, 6,000. That's because the cash requests that I did at the end of February came in March. And so for our total funds amount, including student activities, athletics, and all the grants, there's $6,798,239.29. And that's, I'll tell you in a minute as soon as my fingers start working. Okay, Farmers National Bank, $5,555,160.75. Premier, $1,047,414.96. And Star Ohio, $241,665.51. And that totals to $6,844,241.22. We have outstanding checks, $46,790.53. A cafeteria deposit in transit for $8.60. So that total is $46,781.93. As always, our petty cash, $780. And when you do all the math, it comes out to $6,798,239.29, which does balance. We've also received the appropriation summary and the revenue summary and the check disbursement reports. And if there are any questions on those, I'll entertain them now. Otherwise, that's it for the financial report.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Phillips on the financial report? Seeing there's none, may I have a motion to accept the approval of the treasurer's report?
I motion.
Terry makes the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And on to new business. And Mrs. Carlson.
Thank you very much. Today I'm going to start with Mrs. Pierce from the food service.
So a few weeks back, I sent a survey out to the students. We actually did a QR code and we passed it out on a snack during lunch for students to take a survey of feedback on things we could improve on in the cafeteria, likes, dislikes, and just various questions. So we got a lot of good responses from them. We also did a parent survey that I know Jen put on the South Range Facebook and the website. And we also got a lot of good feedback on the parent surveys as well. So I plan to implement a lot of the things on the May menu as well as next year. So that was a really great way to get feedback from the students and their parents. And as I mentioned too in the last meeting, we'll also be doing summer feeding for any students that are here this summer. So any type of bridge program, athletics, so whatever students are here are allowed to eat breakfast and lunch for free. So that's something we're doing new this summer. Thank you.
Next up, do you have anything, Mr. Pagnato?
Good evening. Technology-wise, we are deploying computers to the teachers. We've been deploying them starting with the middle school, high school, and then elementary school. We have Chromebooks in too. We're working on a plan to hopefully implement that starting in the fall of next school year. Maintenance-wise, over spring break, we got a lot of things done. Everything went well. And also, going back to technology, we were funded for internet. We got that notification yesterday that the federal dollars we get for that was approved. So that's $24,000 that doesn't come out of our budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lewis, do you have anything today? Okay, I'm going to hand it over. Ms. Tomatoes is doing all three administrators today.
Good evening, everyone. As Mrs. Carlson said, tonight for our good news, it's a little bit different. I'll be doing all the good news for the three of us, and we really have a spotlight on the elementary this evening. This year, we have 5 people who are retiring that I'll be speaking about tonight. We have 6 total who have retired or will be retiring from the elementary this year. Earlier this year, we recognized Terry Davis. Terry Davis retired from being an aide in our resource room, and tonight I'll be highlighting a few other staff members, as I said, some of who are here, and I just want to thank all the elementary staff who was able to be here tonight to help recognize our aides and our teachers who will be leaving us here at the end of the year. So first, Stephanie Coleman. Stephanie Coleman was a kindergarten aide in the elementary. She spent most of her time at South Range in Mrs. Masucci's room, as well as working in the summer in our Success by 6 program. With their close relationship in the classroom, here are a few words from Mrs. Masucci about Mrs. Coleman. I miss her every day because she always knew how to bring a smile to my face. Stephanie was a class act in every position in which she ever was placed at South Range. I had the unique opportunity to work with her in her last 5 years of service, and hers will continue to be some of the toughest shoes South Range will ever fill. Above all, Stephanie loves people. She always knew just what to say to a child or colleague in any situation. My students adored her, and she made sure that they all felt safe and loved. Stephanie and I were similar in how we dealt with everyday challenges in the classroom. We shared a love of music and listened to it together during breaks when the children were at specials. In our shared experiences with our students, the best song that fits us both would be Roll With It, Baby. Stephanie didn't get upset or stressed out in class. She loved my challenging students and saw every day as a new day for them to become the very best versions of themselves. Stephanie was like a mom to all of us with her wisdom and life experience. We shared many values that are similar to those expressed by our South Range school family. We continue to keep in touch, and we love to reminisce about how much fun we had working with South Range kindergarten children. I wish her the very best in her retirement journey. I am truly blessed to have her as my friend. So congratulations to Stephanie. Next, Lorraine Cornelius. During her last year in the elementary, she worked with Mrs. Beck in 4th grade. So this is for Mrs. Beck. We sure have shared some good laughs over the years. I love your free spirit and the way you enjoy life. I know you will have a great time sharing fun experiences with Carter. Thank you for loving the kids and learning right along with them in class. You always made me feel like I was doing a good job. Every time I wear my tie-dye, I'll be thinking of you. I know you're excited it's back in style. Happy retirement. And our last aide who is retiring is Donna Main. Donna Main has been an aide in the office at South Range for about the past 14 years. Mrs. Main has taken on many different roles as she has worked in the office with Mrs. Noble, organized various elementary activities, helped out with summer school, and covered any duty when asked from our staff. I treasure all our talks in the office. You always took such a kind interest in my family, and I loved sharing all our baby pics and stories. You have such a beautiful, amazing family, and I know they will bring you so much joy in your retirement. I sure love you a bushel and a peck, and I'll always think of you when I wear my shirt. It was a joy to work with you when I taught summer school. You were always willing to help, and your smile and laugh always brightened my day. Donna's delightful nature and beautiful smile will be very missed by all of the staff at South Range. Donna's approachableness and kind nature are wonderful qualities she exhibits daily in the office. I will sincerely miss her cheerful laugh that often brings a smile to those not having the best day. Hoping that she enjoys every part of her days with her beautiful family and being a wonderful grandmother to all of her precious grandchildren. So again, congratulations to our 4 aides who are retiring. And as I said, we have 2 of our most outstanding teachers who are retiring here at the end of the year. And I'll start with Mrs. Lieu, who is here tonight. And as I said, Mrs. Lieu, I will not make you come up here, nor will I bring the microphone back to you to give your speech. Pam Lieu has been a teacher at South Range Elementary for the past 35 years. She started her career as a kindergarten teacher and is finishing her 35th year in 3rd grade. Mrs. Lieu has been a member of various committees, always has been open to including all students and staff into her classroom, and has been an excellent team member of our elementary. She was an integral part of creating a team teaching approach in our 3rd grade and has been teammates with Mr. Irons for the past 14 years. I asked our staff for some thoughts about Mrs. Lieu as she moves closer to retirement, and here are a few of their words. I have had the privilege of knowing Pam since I began working at South Range in 2003, and I have also had the honor to work with Pam as my math partner for the last 13 years. My first year in 3rd grade was also the first year of team teaching, and Pam took me under her wing and made me feel like a valued family member of the team from the start. She's been my math cohort and buddy throughout my amazing years with her in 3rd grade. Her huge heart is evident in everything she does, and her calm demeanor is wonderful to talk to, laugh with, and bounce ideas off. With my rough estimation in her 35 years of teaching, Pam has more than likely taught over 950 students in grades K1 and 3. She is humble, and I feel sure that she doesn't even realize the incredible impact she's had on the many students who have been lucky enough to be in her room, including my own niece and nephew. She had the pleasure of watching her own children, Jared and Bryn, grow from grade school learners to college graduates, and now proudly watches as they tackle careers of their own. Throughout her teaching career, from the 1980s until now, Pam has seen many classroom and worldly changes. While Pam and her students went through all of life's ups and downs, she continues to foster a sense of security in our ever-changing world along the way. She remembers the days of parachute pants and mullets, watched sadly as a Challenger exploded, and felt excitement as the Berlin Wall came down during her first years of teaching. Pam endured the unknown with the Gulf War, fears of Y2K, and the tragedy of 9/11. She saw class sizes drop during the housing recession and then rebound as we got ready for our new school. She has continued to fearlessly teach during her final 2 years as we endure a worldwide pandemic. Pam is a rock and exhibits a sense of calm, love, and fosters a lifelong love and deep foundation of learning that remains with her students throughout their lives. Pam is a joy to watch teach and a joy to work with on every level. From seeing her dedication to her students and care for her staff family, Pam will be greatly missed. I witnessed and was impressed with her display of compassion and fairness with her students. Pam's quiet, kind, caring, and courteous manner has been evident in her daily interactions with staff and students. When teaching with Pam, I remember her being such a great team player. She listened well to the ideas of her colleagues, was flexible, dependable, most cooperative, and competent. Her dry, quick wit and her encouraging words were often needed and appreciated. Her team will always remember the interesting bus rides they had on their trips to the Cleveland Zoo. Pam has always been so welcoming, encouraging, and offering an offer to help if anything was needed. We are blessed to have gotten to know you throughout the years. I have admired your professionalism and patience since the first day I heard you teaching across the hall for me when I taught second grade at the elementary. Thank you for sending me the best prepared fourth grade math students. I could count on you every year to do that. My greatest gifts from you were your own 2 children. During my first week of school as the elementary school counselor here at South Range, I was asked to present a classroom guidance lesson about empathy and making others feel welcome. I was so nervous as I entered my first classroom, which happened to be Mrs. Lay's. She immediately made me feel quite at ease and made me feel very welcome. I will always hold that first day jitters memory in my mind, and Pam is a special memory of that day. Through the years, I have seen her positively interact with her students and made them feel comfortable too. She is firm and fair in a very calming, gentle way, and it clearly has benefited each student she has taught. One more, Pam. Pam is sincerely a staple in our South Range community. She brings a calming effect to any situation that she is involved with, which is an incredible attribute for a teacher. She is also so wise and knowledgeable, but she has a unique way of making you feel like what you were saying is important. She is absolutely amazing with children and genuinely cares about each and every one of them. Pam will be very missed by all of her colleagues and students, but has earned the right to take some time for herself and enjoy every part of what retirement has to offer. Congratulations. And finally, Mrs. Kate Hall. Kate has been a teacher at South Range for the past 25 years. She has served on various committees and has been willing to work with all students and find new ways to help them reach their full potential. For many years, Mrs. Hall was the lead mentor and worked with many new teachers and student teachers to prepare them for their career. She's been dedicated to her first grade team and has a passion for working with her students and parents. Here are a few words from our staff about Mrs. Hall. I'm not done yet. It has been a privilege to have had the opportunity to teach with Kate Hall for the past 25 years. I have known her as a professional, close colleague, and as a friend. An extremely innovative and creative teacher, Mrs. Hall has been dedicated and committed to the field of education. She established herself as a dependable and highly effective member of our first grade team. Kate has gone out of her way to provide support for all to provide support of all kinds and continually made herself available to ensure a successful first grade program. Above and beyond all of that, Kate Hall exudes kindness and generosity. I believe that each day she makes the decision to help others. Long ago, Kate discovered that when others become your first thought, joy will be your reality. Whether in room 107 or among staff, she was compelled to create a relationship that reflected respect, enthusiasm, and support. Over the years, Kate Hall has challenged her students as well as fellow staff members to be creative and critical problem solvers. Her generous display of compassion and good judgment in working with children is to be admired and emulated, and the children in her classroom have consistently been encouraged to be risk takers. Her smile, her hugs, her endless words of praise and encouragement, and her demeanor have filled many a child's bucket. To put it simply, throughout her teaching career, Mrs. Hall's children and students have known they are loved. Kate really knows her kids. We always love that she can handle any child given to her in her classroom, and she has a way with them. We will never forget the whole crew that went to Ashland to get our masters. How we all went together and then we all rented a bus to go to graduation together. Those were fun times. I always remember how special it was to have your beautiful daughter Julie in class and then seeing you get the job here at the elementary. Not sure where the years have gone, but you sure deserve this time in retirement to do whatever your heart desires. I wish you many Steeler and Fighting Irish victories in the future, and I'll be thinking of you when I root them on. Kate has an infectious laugh, and her smile absolutely lights up any room. Her dedication to South Range has always been on the forefront of her mind. I want to thank Mrs. Hall from the bottom of my heart for all of the incredible work she has dedicated to the special first grade Grandparents' Day program for many, many years. Besides teaching her students about the importance of our armed forces, veterans, and special adults like grandparents, she has also served as a speech coach for these first graders. Each year, there are many speaking parts in the Grandparents' Day program. Mrs. Hall found time in her busy day to work with these first graders in small groups on the stage and coach them on how to speak slowly and clearly into a microphone, then help them to speak with emotion and expression too. Truly, some of these first graders were able to deliver their speaking lines better than some adults. All credit to Mrs. Hall. When I think about Kate, I remember how much she helped me my first few years in first grade. I would go to her almost on a daily basis to talk through how she taught the math lessons. She was my unofficial mentor, my go-to for professional advice based on her experience. She was very kind and nurturing, and even though she is younger than my mom, back at that time when I was just beginning my teaching career, I thought of her like a mother figure who was always gracious with her time, thoughtful with her advice, and encouraging with her smile. Thank you, Kate, for pouring into me and helping me grow. Best wishes to you, Kate. And so first I want to thank everyone who sent all of these, everything I just read. A lot of you are here tonight. Thank you so much. It was just very kind of you to send those kind words. And to our retirees, on behalf of everyone at South Range, I just want to wish you all good luck and best wishes in retirement. Congratulations.
Boy, how moving all of those words were, and to each of you here tonight that is retiring, this board wishes you the very best, both now and into the future. Words really can't quantify how much of an impact that each of you have had for our students through the course of time. I do know some of you that are retiring better than others. I would tell you that I have always valued your words of wisdom to me personally, as well as everything that you guys have done for our students here. As parents, as we send our students to school, it's one of the hopes is obviously that they get a good education, but especially as we send our kids to the elementary, we look for that nurturing that they get at home as well as at school. And we are called by our Lord and Savior to pass his love and goodness on to those that we come in contact with. And words can't say enough how each of you have done that through your careers. And for all of you that are here that do that on a daily basis, that are going to continue to be here, that is much appreciated. But from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for what you've done for South Range and for the students. It sure is not taken lightly, and those words of appreciation probably aren't said enough, but know that you're loved and you will be very much missed in this school system. So God bless you all, and we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. So thank you. Next up is OHSAA membership for the 21-22 school year. Mrs. Carlson, do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's just our yearly renewal. Yeah, it's just every year we have to renew and accept that we'll be part of Ohio High School.
Okay. Next would be the athletic code of conduct that for the 21-22 school year, pretty much the same as what we've done in the past.
Yes, every year the students who participate in athletics sign off on a code of conduct. We did find out that the one that was on the website was inaccurate, so we are going to board approve it so we can update the one on the website. The only change that was actually made 2 years ago was that if a student starts a sport so many days into it, they can't quit and jump to another sport. They're committing to that sport that they're signing up for. So that's the only update that changed on the one that was updated on online.
Okay. Next is the athletic organizational book for the 21-22 school year.
Once again, every year we just ask that you approve this. This has some of the job descriptions of the various coaches, athletic director, and also is kind of a chain of command for our athletic directors, administration, and coaches.
Next would be the Ohio Principal Evaluator, which was going to be you.
Yeah, every year, or actually it's every couple years, the principals and I have to retake our test to be credentialed evaluators. Mine happened to come up last month, and it has to be renewed even though the administrators are done. They're going to all be redone in July for OTES 2.0, so this is kind of just to get us through the end of the year for compliance, but all the evaluations were already completed.
Next will be the graduation requirement policy extension per House Bill 67.
Yes, if you remember, about this time last year, they came out with a new policy when schools were closed due to COVID, that due to the fact that state tests were not provided, that the graduating seniors, as well as what would have been the juniors last year, were able to use their end of course test or their end of grade for the 9 weeks for the year as their point total. So if you received an A in geometry, you could get 5 points in your geometry test because they weren't given. Though we are giving tests this year, they're extending that. In talking with our legal team, we don't need it. However, it could protect some of the juniors next year, so they did advise us with the unknown of knowing what's going on with our juniors to reapprove it. Our seniors are good to go. So this is really just to protect our juniors for next year possibly, but we really don't feel we'll need it again.
Okay, next would be the lease agreement for the property that we just bought for Less and Less Farms LLC to plant it in this year. Mr. Phillips, are you speaking to that, or?
That property had been leased by Less and Less Farms for years before we purchased it. And on a year-by-year basis, the board can take it, anytime we have plans to develop, do anything with it, we can terminate that, next year, the year after, the year after. So it's just sitting there. We thought we would let, we're going to make, I think, $1,040. It's $80 an acre for 13 acres. And he'll till that and grow what he grows. I guess it's corn, oats, and wheat.
Corn and soybeans could be.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That farm stuff.
Yep. So. Okay, next up is approval and payment in lieu of transportation.
Yes, this family, I don't know if they actually moved in late, but they didn't choose to ask for in lieu of. They've been busing their child. So they brought it in late. We did work with them that it would start from the date they brought it in. We were not going to retro it back to the beginning of the school year when the paperwork should have originally been in.
Okay. And next is, and it's kind of fitting that we have a bunch of our elementary staff here, a recognition honoring Mr. James Hall, and I'd like to take a couple minutes to read that. Whereas Mr. Hall's life on earth came to an end February 18th, 2021, while his deep spirituality and kind heart assures that he lives on in heaven. And whereas his years at the helm of South Range Local Schools between 1986 and 2006 marked the era when the South Range Local School District became a premier Ohio school district, as is known today for having been one of only a handful of school districts to achieve the state's excellent rating from every year from its inception in 1999 until his retirement in 2006. And whereas academic excellence, great success in the arts, and athletic team successes statewide were all enjoyed under his tenure and with his guidance, he had an innate ability to find excellent teachers, with a bunch of them sitting here tonight, support staff, coaches, and advisors. He wanted his legacy to be the people he hired, and this is indeed his legacy, as many of his hires still serve our students today. And whereas of his 41 years as an educator, South Range Local Schools was blessed to be the benefactor of 20 of those years. So, therefore, be it resolved that, represented by the signatures of the elected members of the South Range Board of Education, on behalf of the entire South Range family, we honor the life and service of James Alexander Hall and offer both our thanks and sympathy to his wife, children, grandchildren, and entire family upon his passing. I'd just like to add that those words that I just read were so much true of Mr. Hall. He was never looking for any glory, but he always wanted to do what was best for the students, the staff, and the community. And for me personally, as I was new to the board, I valued his opinions, I valued his leadership, and I was happy and very fortunate to be able to work along his side for so many years. And his passing is definitely a loss to our community, but for sure is a gain for where he sits today in heaven, because there's not a doubt in my mind that that's where he is at. So with that, we will open up for public participation on the April agenda items. If anybody would like to comment on the items before us, please step forward, state your name and your address, and I would tell you that you have 2 minutes. Anybody?
Real quick, I actually do have a question about the tilling lease. Do we have any liability on that, or is that?
No, the lease was prepared by Harrington, Hoppy, and Mitchell, attorney Alan Wenger, who, by the way, sat on this board for 20 years. And they have to give us a certificate of insurance for $1 million, and we're held harmless for everything that could happen on there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Before we proceed, does anybody have a hard copy? I seem to be missing some pages in my copy. If not, I can.
Okay, first up, I would entertain a motion for the Ohio High School Athletic Association membership for the 21-22 school year.
So moved.
Taylor moves. May I have a second?
Second.
Brian seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the Athletic Code of Conduct for the 21-22 school year. May I have a motion for that?
I'll motion.
Terry motions. May I have a second?
A second.
Amy seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, the Athletic Organizational Book for the 21-22 school year. May I have a motion for that?
I move.
Brian moves. May I have a second?
Second.
Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, the Ohio Principal Evaluator. May I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Amy moves. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Terry seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The graduation requirement policy extension per House Bill 67. May I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Taylor moves. May I have a second?
Second.
Brian seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, wait a minute. I
Oh,
think
wait a minute. That
yeah.
one, I'm sorry, we need a roll call vote. I couldn't see it on the page I was on. Mr. Phillips, roll call, please.
Taylor Christian,
Yes.
Terry Lally,
Yes.
Ralph Wentz,
Yes.
Amy White, Brian Bagwell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next up is the approval of the year-to-year lease of the farm property that we just purchased to Less and Less Farms LLC. May I have a motion for that?
I'll motion.
Terry moves. May I have a second?
Second.
Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the approval and payment in lieu of transportation from the date that it was sent to us, not the whole school year. May I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Amy moves. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Terry seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, may I have a motion for the recognition honoring Mr. James Hall?
I'll motion.
Terry makes the motion. Brian seconds. Mr. Phillips, roll call, please.
Taylor Christian,
Yes.
Terry Lally,
Yes.
Ralph Wentz,
Yes.
Amy White, Brian Bagwell.
Yes.
Okay, and that finishes all the regular agenda items. Now non-agenda items for public participation. Do we have anybody that would like to speak? Please state your name and your address.
Hi, my name's Beth Acquisto, and I live at 12469 New Buffalo Road. I'm here tonight to present my concerns with this year's prom guidelines. My senior has been told she isn't allowed to bring her date, who is a 19-year-old graduate of the 2020 class from South Range. I have talked to Mr. Rowan and Mrs. Carlson about this issue. I was originally told that it was a mutual agreement amongst the surrounding schools that they were not going to allow graduates due to unknown guidelines that would be announced. I have now verified that West Branch, Western Reserve, Jackson Milton, Columbiana, and Springfield are some of the ones allowing outside graduates to attend their prom this year. I was informed it was also a safety issue. I want to assure you I've spoken to the health department, who has verified with me that the guidelines that were recommended, that you follow your current guidelines that are currently in place. Our current guidelines is a graduate up to the age of 21 years of age. I'm not understanding the difference between a date from another school versus a South Range graduate. I ask that the board hear my argument and offer their support on this situation. I was told by Mrs. Carlson that she takes guidance from the school board, and I need your support. Children like mine missed their prom last year as a junior, along with her boyfriend who is a senior. This is our chance to give them the chance to go to prom together under our current guidelines. Please support me in offering our kids this opportunity, for our school has one of the largest venues available with unimaginable space. These kids deserve a somewhat normal prom, and I believe changing guidelines when they're not needed, not required. Why create more guidelines for these children when their world is full of guidelines right now? Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Rich Ferenchak, 115 Longview. At the end of the last meeting, Mrs. Carlson pointed out that we were going to have several retirements in the elementary staff. Good for them. I mean, they worked hard. They deserve it. As you know, I've been a vehement opponent for probably the 10 years that we've had it of open enrollment. I think now would be a good time, since you've got retirements, to seriously look at not replacing the positions that are being vacated. I think we're down to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Beth, around 70 resident kids in K through 8 or 9 probably right now. Is that ballpark? But ballpark, it's about 70 kids. So if we went down, if we didn't replace those positions, you could easily have, with 70 resident kids in a class, that would give you roughly, about 21, 22 kids. You'd probably actually improve the student-teacher ratio doing it that way by not bringing in all the open enrollment kids. Other districts have done it, Poland, Springfield, the other districts that don't have open enrollment have shrunk the district by not replacing retirements. I know you're looking still, I don't know, the 5-year forecast will come out, again, next month, Jim, I think, in May, you'll have it revised. I assume you're probably still looking around $2 million deficit in 2 or 3 years. And the thing that I'd hate to see is what we went through 6 years ago when, we defeated the levy, because I was right, we didn't need it. And if we would just shrink the district down to the size that we need through attrition, I don't want to see anybody lose their job. But as people leave, I know you're going to leave in December. I think it would be a very good idea to look at sharing a treasurer. If not, if you're going to have this number of open enrollment districts, and at that point, it's kind of hard not to make the case just to go to countywide schools. So I think we should just manage the district better and use this opportunity to save the taxpayer dollars and shrink the district down to the size that it should be. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing there's none, we will go to April-May district update.
Thank you. I have a few updates. Some of the most important ones is a COVID update. Some of the things that we are looking at moving forward, we're finally able to start talking about next year. As of right now, the state of Ohio is not mandating a remote learning option. We're working on blended options, which is really good. I've met with the administration and we agree that the face-to-face time, the social emotional time that students have within the school setting. So we would like to move forward next year without not offering the remote learning. So this is not on the table next year. We want our students in school learning with their peers and their teachers. Some other things that we are looking at, I don't know if any of you heard, DeWine is asking schools to be a facilitator for space more so for the vaccines for 16 and 17-year-olds, trying to help out parents who work, trying to make it a little easier where a pharmacy would come in, much like they did for the teachers. They would have a sign-off from the parents, they fill out all the paperwork, and we would just basically have a space within our school, but our school would not mandate it, require it. It's just literally, here's something to offer. If you want to use it, you use it, but that's it. We met with the superintendents and the legal. They're saying it's fine. One school has already done it, so I'm kind of observing that to see how that works. But again, more so just to help parents who maybe work but want to get their kid, but they can't get them to where they need to be during the day. So there's more coming on that. He has talked to the athletic directors. He's talked to different places. So he continues to speak about just being an avenue and a place for this. So as more information comes down with that, I'll share that with you. But that is something that's kind of hot topic right now with the COVID vaccine. Technology, as Dean mentioned, we have our Chromebooks here, so we will be moving to a one-to-one next year. We've talked with the administration, K to 6, we'll keep them in school, and we're going to work out a plan for 7 through 12 to be able to take them home so that they have access to technology, they can do their schoolwork online. If by chance something happens next year and they're quarantined, or if they fall ill, they would have technology and be able to live remote in like we do right now for students who are quarantined or home ill. So that will continue and the technology will support that. Met the second time now with our professional development committee. Throughout the year, I know we've sprinkled in a little bit of the different opportunities that we had actually moving into this year, but next year we'll be working on those with teacher clarity, working on more of the, the explicit instruction and assessments. We're going to work on Ohio teacher evaluation, high quality student data assessment training as well. We have a grant K-12 prevention through the county that we will participate in. So all this, the elementary teachers will be trained on an SEL, social emotional learning program to put in the classrooms. The middle school and the high school counselors will be trained to work with students on life skills. So that was a grant also through the county. So I worked with the PD committee and we're working on a plan to embed the professional development throughout the school year instead of just that kind of one day stop and get it all at once and then move on. And unfortunately we're overwhelmed and don't sometimes have enough knowledge in how to implement that. So we're working with a committee on that. And as we have more, I'll share that with you as well. Summer schools are starting to be developed. Mr. Matus's will be first. He'll be aligning his K-1 and his 1-2 transition summer school with the Success by 6 program. So they are attaining different data points right now, and they're going to have a list of students that they're going to invite to these transition schools. And then in the late July, beginning of August, we will do 3, 4, and then up into middle school as well. And then obviously all summer long, any high schooler who needs credit recovery to ensure they can graduate, we will be offering that as well. I want to congratulate, as you all know, the teachers have to do what's called the RESA, and after 4 years of going through that, and we have 3 individuals, Keith Jernowski, Clyde Beaver, and Allison Zwingler, who've all successfully passed their test, and they are RESA certified, so they can move on past that. And I would also like to congratulate Tracy Martz will be moving to our 3rd grade position, and Nikki Cardinal will be moving to our 1st grade position. So right now we have Title I and tutor position available and a special education position available. So that would be it.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up would be executive session. The board and its committees and subcommittees reserves the right to enter into executive session solely to discuss one or more of the following issues that are exempted from public session under Ohio Revised Code 121.22 and Board Policy 0166. Consideration of appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, compensation of a public employee. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Brian moves. May I have a second?
Second.
Terry seconds. Mr. Phillips, roll call.
Taylor Christian? Yes. Terry Lally?
Yes.
Ralph Wentz?
Yes.
Amy White? Brian Bagwell?
Yes.
Board enters into executive session at 7:46 p.m. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. It was hard for me at one point. Just plain as day, they told me to sit down. I don't remember a few, but I definitely remember, came over and sit down. We've been in basement. Yeah. Came over and, I didn't know him, he didn't know me. I knew him somewhat because what got me started riding. We're back from executive session at 8:29, and Mrs. Carlson, personnel.
Phone going. Okay, we have quite a few things. This is our big agenda where we have a lot of renewing of contracts as well as non-renewing. At the very top, just again, Mr. Condas is back from Florida, so I had originally only board approved him for 1 month. So he's back. He's going to help us out the rest of the school year for the next, I think we're down to 32 days, 33 days. Mr. Hura, I was just asked for auditing purposes just to code him as a high school sub, not just a specific classroom. Sue Sao also has applied to be a substitute for us. She's a parent, and we look forward to having our parents help us out. Also, for summer clerical work, Jill White again and Lisa Gorby, they help out Dean with lockers and some various other things. I believe Lisa redoes all of the locker codes and resets them for him. And then our teaching staff, so grant a 1-year teaching contract to Mary A. She's actually completing her intervention specialist degree. She's on a temporary right now. She's done with it. She graduates in, I think it's 3 weeks. So I put that on there, but she actually brought me the paperwork showing she is completed and that she is graduating. Jacqueline Raquetta, Bailey Gonsi, Cynthia Maynard as a part-time counselor. Again, she's only here half the time. Katie Butcher, Sarah Fischel, and Nikki Cardinal will be seeking a continuing contract. So they actually were all eligible for a 2-year, but per our contract, they asked for a 1-year because next year they're going to be asking for continuing contract. Allison Swingler, 0.5 RTI tutor, that's a yearly renewal for that position. And then a 2-year contract, which will take them through 23, Clive Beaver, Allison Swingler for her title teaching portion of her position, Stephen Cossey, Carol Dawson, Anthony Foster, James Hannick, Trista Hauk, Kim Vizdos, Kelly Leach, Paul Lindstrom, Kristen Massey, Brock Miller, Daniel Papalardo, Angela Rosen, Deb Staffeld, and Brooke Stewart. Grant a 2-year contract to Madeline Caputo. She's our speech and language pathologist. A continuing contract to George McDowell. He's been here for many of years. If you remember, we changed him to a he is a maintenance assistant, I believe, custodial assistant, but he is due for a continuing contract. Grant a 2-year limited contract for the following people: Bob Donaldson, bus driver; Dolores Brumbaugh, bus driver; Jim Terry, lead bus maintenance; Paul Munson, study hall monitor. And then if you go down further to our instructional aides, 2-year limited part-time contracts are Colleen Kirsten, Sharon Creed, Lisa Blythe, Diane Hatzigi, Eileen Hyland, and Tracy Schmreck. You know what? I need to make a correction on that. Diane, Eileen, and Tracy should have been up in the 1 year for that. I actually, you know what I'll do is I will correct that at the next meeting. Approve the following supplemental contracts for the 2021 school year. Matt Brooks and Delaney Less are going to be co-head boys middle school track coaches, each splitting at 4%. And approve the following supplemental contracts: Dan Yeagley, varsity football; Kelsey Malenik, varsity girls soccer; Zachary Stamp, varsity boys soccer. And then you'll see the list below, as we do every year. All non-teaching certified staff that have a supplemental contract with us, they are listed below. So I'm asking that you non-renew them at the end of this school year, and they will have to either reapply or they will not be approved for next school year. Also, non-renew the part-time instructional bus aides. These are the people I was speaking about: Chloe Freedy and Carrie Taylor as bus aides, and then the 3 additional part-time instructional aides that we had here to help with COVID, as well as we're filling in for the individuals who just resigned or retired: Sam Saccone, Victoria Wellington, Zach McKenzie. Also, non-renew the instructional positions that were here with us this year: Nicole Barquette, Patty Shaw, Richard Hura, Denise Cossack, Christina Horton, Matt Giambattista, Courtney Kane, Christian Silvestri, Alana Polini, and Heidi Williams. Rescind the contract to Josh Smith. We were notified late that he was not able to help coach because of his job. So to recalibrate the percentages according to the contract below, adjust the percentages for the girls basketball coaching staff that did coach all year long, and the percentages listed there. Accept the resignation of varsity coach John Collin. John has been our high school boys basketball coach for the last 8 years. He has coached basketball since 1973. His career record is 597 to 295. He holds league record. His league record is 290 to 113. 14 league championships, 26 sectional titles, 5 district titles. He's been inducted to the Mahoning County Curbstones Coaches Hall of Fame. Throughout his career, he has shared his passion for coaching, which is evident in the 53 former players or coaches that are now either coaching as a head or an assistant at the high school, collegiate, or professional level. We wish Coach Collin the best of luck in his retirement from coaching and thank him for his years of service. I'm also asking that you accept Heather Livesay. She is a part-time instructional aide. Heather is an aide at the elementary. She successfully completed her coursework of study and will begin her student teaching next school year. So she's going to resign, do her student teaching here at South Range, and then transfer into a substitute teacher for us while she's waiting to attain a job. Accept the resignation of Alfred Davidson as a custodial assistant. Alfred has been an asset to our district. He has volunteered his time as well as assisted our custodial team with daily cleaning. He loves to be with the students here at South Range, reading to them and talking to them. He's always been supportive and appreciative of our staff who have welcomed him into their rooms. We were very fortunate to have such an amazing individual be part of our staff and to be here for our students. Also accept the resignation of Donna Main. As you heard, Mr. Matos pretty much read the exact thing I had written. She also helped out Sherry Lewis in the special education department with scheduling and calling on parents for IEP meetings and answering questions. She did a fabulous job with that. And then accept the retirement of high school math educator Daniel Yeagley. Dan has been an educator and coach for 36 years, spending the last 29 of his educational career here at as a South Range Raider. When you enter the high school, you always see Dan standing in the hallway saying good morning to every staff member and student who walks by him in the morning. He is an anchor in the lower hallway who between classes is always there, as we said, to say hello, but also reaches out to the students to offer them extra encouragement or mentoring, and also to congratulate them on any of their school-related accomplishments. Dan has continued to support the Family Comes First motto that South Range has built. He models this philosophy to his staff, his peers, his students, taking a hands-on approach when there is a concern. He's a true testament of the value and the impact that Mr. Yeagley has made on our students. Was when he announced that he was retiring, a lot of the students actually started to panic. They use him for the National Honor Society letters, their graduation letters, their college acceptance. And I guess the hum around the building was, what are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now? Mrs. Toy shared that little bit with me, that the kids were just, what are we gonna do? He's not gonna be here to talk to. And you do, if you come in the building, you see a lot of them just stop. He kind of has to push them on to get to their class, but he's been an anchor for a lot of the kids and even the staff. You'll see the staff out there as much. So he spent many years making sure that he takes the extra time to get to know each and every individual. And I actually have to say he has been a great spirit lifter for me, because no matter what, when I come around that corner, he stops and looks and says, how's your day? Is there anything I can do? It's just that little extra, which everybody in the building does, but as a new person here, stopping kids, hey, you need to meet this person, and making them shake my hand and making them get to know. So he has been a true asset to our building, and we look forward, he's gonna even joked, I have more time to be around now that I'm just coaching to maybe continue the mentorship and be here. So that's it. Nope, sorry, I've got this whole group. Approve the supplemental contracts for all of the supplemental. These are the certified teachers that have applied for their supplemental contracts. So I ask that you approve all of the supplemental contracts listed below. And that would be it.
Sorry, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
On Diane, Eileen, and Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
So are we not voting on that, or do you think we should give them the 2 year and just change it to 1 year next month?
If they understand what's going on, Mrs. Carlson, I can correct the minutes, and we can just do it now, so you don't have to bring it back.
If the board is comfortable with that, we could correct the minutes now. Otherwise, I could bring it back at the next meeting.
I think as long as it's
Correct, Aunt, now?
we can vote on
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
They should have been in that list heading right above it.
Okay, it's Diane, Tracy, and who's the other one?
Eileen Highland.
Oh, the last three. Okay.
Okay, any other questions? If not, may I entertain a motion to accept all of the personnel recommendations?
I motion.
Terry makes the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Taylor seconds, and Mr. Phillips, roll call.
Taylor Christian? Yes. Terry Lally?
Yes.
Ralph Wentz?
Yes.
Amy White? Brian Bagwell?
Yes.
All right, and if there's nothing else, let us entertain a motion for adjournment. Amy moves and Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?